Welcome to the Live Bright Show, the pod for badass service-based entrepreneurs who are creating businesses and lives that are fun, successful, and free. And now your host, seven-figure business owner, coach, and founder of the Live Bright movement, here to help you own your potential, Molly Moran.
Welcome to the show, everyone. I'm so excited today to have Pamela Otero. Pamela is the owner and founder of Graced by Grit, which empowers chronically fatigued females to resolve their health issues and increase their energy and get back to the activities that they love. She is also the quote unquote mineral matchmaker, which I can't wait to hear about. And she's a nutritional therapy practitioner. She's a microgreens farmer. She's the former owner of O2 Fitness Studio. She's a former personal trainer, running coach. She's the mother of two. She's a dog mom. She does it all. And I'm so excited to have you on the show today, Pamela. Welcome.
Thank you. Thank you. I am so excited to be here. Thanks for having me. And yes, all the things. I wear many, many, many hats.
You do. Like, and I love, so, and actually I'd love to just kind of get right into it if you don't mind. I know we're on a tight time frame, but like you do wear a lot of hats. And to me, when I look at what you do, and I'm probably going to go out of order here, but I'm just going to go with it. When I look at what you do, you seem to pursue things that you're really passionate about. Is that right?
Yes. Well, and it's interesting. I did say I wear a lot of hats, but I will tell you, as I've progressed and evolved in my business, I am excited about removing hats and really just streamlining and simplifying. But you're absolutely right. I feel like in anything I do, and everyone's different, right? I have this conversation, as you said, I have kids. My son is a freshman in college, and my daughter is right behind. She's a senior in high school. But I'm always talking with them about what do they want to do in their life, right? So even as an entrepreneur, simplifying, wearing lots of hats, but there are some people that's not their path. They enjoy working for a corporation. They don't want to have the responsibility. They want to have more predictability, stability, all the things, which as an entrepreneur, you don't always have that. But I find it exciting. I find it exciting to be able to have an idea and then kind of run with it. And yeah, I was going to say something else and it'll probably come back, but
that's all right. We'll loop back to it. So I love that. So I know you used to work for other people and you took the plunge. I don't know how many years ago did you take the entrepreneurial plunge?
Well, technically I would say I've been an entrepreneur since about 2007. Okay. This was back in the day when my kids were super, super tiny. I was married. I was staying home. Prior to that, I worked for other corporations. And I always found when I was working in more of that corporate setting, although I rocked all my performance reviews, I didn't like being told that I couldn't do something. If I had an idea on how to make something more efficient or to create a new program, there was always somebody above me saying, you know what, we don't have the budget for it. I think that I want to use your time this way. So I didn't like being confined and restrained. And so later, obviously life takes its turns, but I started back in 2007. I had my running program. I always grew up in a running family, putting on races locally in my hometown here in Albuquerque. So I started that journey in 2007. And again, I started as a running coach working for someone who had a national program. And what do you think I did? I took his national program, stayed within the boundaries of what I needed to do, but I always wanted to add to it and make it better. And so it evolved into offering strength and conditioning with the running, into offering workshops and clinics. And so I've just always been that person.
Right. I love that. I saw a quote this morning and I will get it wrong, but basically it was like the world is run by people who couldn't hold a job and work for somebody else, right? It's like so true. I was like, that's right. We're basically unemployable. It sounds like you're one of those.
Well, and everyone's different, but I think the bottom line is I don't like being told what I can and cannot do. And although it's risky to venture out and become an entrepreneur and start your own business, Sometimes people straddle it where they're working for somebody while they're ramping up. I think all the different ways that you can go about starting a business are great. But I have just, I talk with some of my friends about being risk averse, and I'm just not. And I guess it all just depends on what we're talking about. When it comes to business, though, as a single mom, I mean, I was divorced. I got divorced when my kids were 4 and 2. So I was working for a private school, and then I was also doing my running program. And then I eventually opened up a fitness studio at the same time, right? That I was doing both. But it all came out of financial need, right? I was a single mom of 2 super young kids. And then eventually I kind of let the private school kind of job fade away, and I dove all in on this fitness studio. And then even that has just evolved to where I'm at right now. But through each of those, I guess taking each of those steps and moving on to kind of like the next level, I really had to assess like the pros and cons, the risk. I mean, so going back to, being risk averse, I've never really, I'm totally open with taking a chance and taking a risk, but obviously it's all relative to the situation. I think some people can take bigger leaps than others because maybe they have somebody else.
Yeah, but let's talk about that. I mean, I think it's really interesting. You're like, well, it came out of a financial need that, I had like 2 kids under the age of 10, so I decided to start my own business. Like that's like kind of a different way of going about things. Like, like that's bold. That's pretty amazing. And I think a lot of, I certainly hedged my bets when I was starting my first company for sure, and had had a job, and then side hustled until like I quit the job, that sort of thing. And so you went all in. Can you talk to us a little bit about where like that's incredible sort of self-belief, like you knew you could do it. Like where does that come from for you? And
Well,
how do you keep going with it? Because you've had these different iterations, and now you're a freaking farmer. I mean, like you nutritional coach, and so like how do you keep, and you still have, and now you've got kids that are going to college, that like you've got a lot of responsibilities, and you still are taking these risks and going. Could you talk to us about that?
Yeah, that's a great question. And I'm just trying to think. I don't know. Well, I'm one of 3 girls and I'm the middle child. And, I I don't know if it's a personality thing or if it's just ever since I've been really little, I've adopted this label that was kind of put on me where I was the one that was people usually came to solve problems. I was the one that naturally dove in and was resourceful and researched things. And I think that was just something that was in me. I could navigate and be resourceful and figure it out. And it was never, that's just who I am. So I think part of it comes from a personality trait, but I think the other piece is growing up, I inherited some labels that I just took on, and then that became part of my identity, some of which I am trying to let go of. Because I'm like, that's not serving me anymore. And that's just serving you. And I'm done with that. Like,
I hear you, sister. Yes, I got you. Yeah.
Yes. I think the confidence, I will say, this is a great question because growing up, and this might sound really simple and silly, but growing up, even when I would walk around, I had people comment, like I just kind of walked with confidence, right? And sometimes, a lot of times, that intimidated people, right? And so I was perceived as overly, like, it's interesting. I was perceived as maybe being overly confident, but in my mind, I was just thinking, this is just who I am. And so, when we're younger, I'm bouncing all over the place, but I think it was just I've always been a confident person growing up. Like, even this might sound a little,
just go. I want to just say it.
Well, like, even with friends, I'm just not a person that really wants to work hard to like try and make friends. I just have friends. And I think when we put out a certain energy, we tend to attract, people that are interested in that energy. You are totally one of those people, right? That you're drawn to the energy. And
Yes.
so I think when we talk about confidence, it's not really me thinking about being confident. It's just part of who I am. And yes, there's lots of times that I don't feel confident, especially taking on risk and taking on new endeavors. It is scary, but I'm just like, okay, but what's the worst thing that could happen? I mean, doesn't
There
work
we go.
out.
That's the best question. And I say that to people all the time, actually. Like, okay, okay, so you could lose some money, like, or you could lose some face, or you could be a little embarrassed, or you could, but like, that's it. Like, I mean, now losing money is no joke for a lot of us, of course, but like, what's the worst thing that can happen? You're probably not going to kill anybody and or die or whatever. I love that attitude. That's great. That's
Well,
great.
and I think the other thing that brings up is, what is the worst thing that could happen? And I think as I've gotten older, I'm 51 now.
Oh my God.
I don't feel 51. I love it. As I get older, I'm more and more excited about getting older. It's just the reverse of, a lot of people. But going back to what's the worst thing that could happen, right? It doesn't work out. I'm always thinking, well, if it doesn't work out, well, I'm learning something, and then I can take that and try and keep figuring it out, right? It's just, or you lose a little money, or you're like, okay, well, that really wasn't what I thought I wanted. It's just taking you down a different path with a little detour. But in the process, one thing I'm realizing as I'm getting older is, and even taking on leveling up or evolving or iterating with business or myself, one thing I'm not willing to compromise on anymore, which goes back to what I was saying about those labels that I inherited, that I'm getting rid of some of them, shedding some of them, is not editing myself. And so I found part of, even though I've always been confident, even though I've, been an entrepreneur for many, many years, along the way, there are many moments where I knowingly edited myself and chose to play smaller, chose to not make certain decisions, but it wasn't necessarily because of me. It was because of how that would make somebody else feel or what they would think. And so as I've gotten older, one of the biggest things I'm really working on is not editing myself. And because what's the worst thing that can happen? Going back to that question, now I make decisions going, okay, if I continue to edit myself and not do something that really I'm excited about inside, although it might be scary, like pushing myself down and not honoring myself is one of the worst things that could happen. And I'm not willing to do that. So anyhow.
I love that answer. And like, I love this. I'm not editing myself, because I just really feel like you're like, okay, this is who I am. I am clear in who I am. And your regret would be to edit out those important parts of who you are, or not live to your potential, or whatever it might be. So I love that. That's awesome. That's awesome to hear, Pamela.
Yeah.
That's great. And I think that's a really hard lesson for people to learn, especially depending on their relationships with their spouse or their family or whomever it might, or their friends. Like, all of a sudden they get pushback from people around them. And it's like, and I certainly, this has definitely happened to me in my life. As I've stepped more into myself or whatever, I have gotten pushback from people around me. I'm like, well, are these my people? Is this valid? Is this valid? Like, am I turning into whatever, or are these just not my people anymore? And usually it's like maybe a little combination, but basically it's probably like, they're not my people. Right.
Yeah. And I think that sometimes they were, like, when you were at a certain place, or at least I know me, when I was at a certain version, Pamela,
Yeah.
I don't know, 5.0, 10.0, I don't know. And now I'm at 15.
Right.
I don't know.
Yeah, right.
They were my people, but I've changed, and sometimes our surrounding and the people that we surround ourselves needs to change. But also going back to, if someone has an opinion on something I'm doing, or maybe even something you've done in business, right? Is that, I'm always just kind of taking a moment to filter it and go, wait a second, how do I feel about that? Or is that's their stuff?
Right. That's their stuff. Yeah. I love that. I think I went through a phase where I was really open to lots of feedback. And at times I almost gave that more more power than what I thought myself. And as soon as I realized that, I'm like, what am I doing? Like, this is like, I know stuff like so I think I think it's a really interesting balance and just sort of self-knowledge that I'm glad to see that you're also there. So you're done editing yourself. That's great.
Well, yeah, because even with the microgreens farming, right? So I grow microgreens in addition to doing my functional nutrition work, right? I actually wanted to start that probably 2 years ago. And what I made the mistake of, which I'm learning again, I'm
Yeah.
learning every single time that I'm not going to do that again. I
Right.
was seeking advice, and really I was seeking permission. Not that I needed permission, but I did somewhere deep inside need permission. And so I took the advice, although I thought it was great advice at the time, but it kept kind of surfacing and kind of percolating and coming back up. And I was just like, I knew this is something I wanted to do. But the advice I got was from a dear friend that has been in business for years. And she's like, Pamela, that's going to distract you. That's going to be a distraction from your nutritional therapy work. But in the end, I feel like, so I went forward, with it 2 years later. I'm so happy
Mm-hmm.
doing it in
Mm-hmm.
conjunction with what I'm doing, and they support each other. But it took me 2 years to do it because I got that advice. And I think her intentions were great, but I'm learning as I, you know, become wiser and just navigate my life and my business to really ask less and less people what they think.
Yeah, totally.
Because
Totally.
inside it's like, and I'm now getting better at deciding, is that like a crazy idea and I really need to sit with it, and then like, no, I shouldn't move forward, or no, like this really is something that I feel like I am being pulled to do. And
Mhm.
so let's explore that, right?
I
And not
love that.
everything needs to be a business, but
Right. Right.
kind of like what you said at the beginning is I am somebody that loves my work to be something I'm passionate about. Some
Mhm.
people can go have a career, they're not passionate about it. They make great money, it supports their lifestyle, and then they do their other hobbies and passions separately from their work. But I'm definitely somebody that I need to be passionate about the work that I do, and
Yeah,
making money, right, is a form of that. I want to be doing something I love and I'm passionate about.
totally. Hey friends, a quick break to ask you to please go to mollymoran.com/pod to be added to my email list. Here's the thing, I hate email, so I pretty much guarantee you're not going to receive anything excessive. Only important things like when I open up spaces in my coaching program, offer new courses, release a new pod, or perhaps an occasional biz life tip. That's mollymoran.com/pod. Now back to the show. Let's get into what you are doing right now, which I know you're really passionate about. So, and it's really exciting. And I think a lot of people can learn from it. Okay, you are a nutritional therapy practitioner. Is that correct? What does that mean?
So basically, yeah. So I went back to school to become a nutritional therapy practitioner, but the simplest way is I am a holistic nutritionist. So I don't necessarily follow the Western medicine philosophy with diet and nutrition. I use a more holistic approach using food as medicine to resolve chronic health issues. I think Western medicine is great for more like acute situations, but for people that are struggling with chronic health issues, that Western medicine or modern medicine or the traditional way has not really supported them or served them. If anything, at times caused, more issues. So yeah, so I'm a nutritional therapy practitioner by education, but it's basically a holistic nutritionist. And I work with people virtually one-on-one, not only individuals that are struggling with chronic fatigue, which is my story, which actually came about because of all the working, all the hustling, all of that, plus all of the other life challenges that were thrown at me at the same time. So I work with individuals one-on-one virtually that are really wanting to resolve chronic health issues
Mm-hmm.
using a more holistic approach, and also that Western approach when, appropriate. I like
Mm-hmm.
collaborating with physicians and other practitioners,
Mm-hmm.
team effort, and integrative approach. And then in addition to that, because I found with the work I was doing with clients that Minerals, vitamins and minerals were so depleted in so many people because of medications, because of just dysfunction. That's how I got into the microgreens farming, because I was already growing for myself and my kids, and really looking at how could I support kind of two areas of my community, two different kind of groups of people. I don't want to just be working with clients that are just in such a poor state and they've expended all, angles and resources and they're in just so much pain. I also want to help people that are not chronically sick to
Yeah.
get those nutrients in and stay healthy. So I got into kind of microgreens farming to kind of complement both. So yeah.
I love that. So if you were to have somebody come and say, hey, okay, I'm tired, or actually let's talk about somebody who just wants to be proactive. What would you recommend? I mean, I know you focus on females who are high performing, high driving, like you, someone kind of like you actually. And what would you recommend for somebody who's like, okay, I just want to get started here and get healthier? Like, I don't have any massive health issues. Where would you recommend they start? And especially with the mineral piece, I'm really curious about this mineral matchmaking piece.
Yes. Well, and that's the thing. Part of my practice is using mineral therapy. So I do hair tissue mineral analysis as well as like blood chemistry and just looking at blood work and that sort of thing. But minerals, I'm just really drawn to because they're needed in the body for so many functions. But if somebody is, they don't currently have any kind of diagnosis, just so you know, as a tip, most symptoms don't arise for like 5 to 7 years. And there's already things going on, dysregulation and disruption going on. I always think like under the hood,
Yeah.
Then we start seeing symptoms later on, right? So if someone wants to be proactive or someone doesn't have really any symptoms that they're, aware of, the number one thing, and I'm working on this, it's a resource, it's just taken me a while to put together, is eliminating our exposures to toxins. And so thinking about the air we breathe. So are we somebody that diffuses candles that maybe aren't made of really good ingredients and we're breathing that in? What are we washing our clothes in that has, chemicals? So reducing exposure to chemicals and toxins by our drinking water, our air, the products that we use, our cleaning products, our skincare. That would probably be the lightest lift, and you can make small tweaks, right? Because I understand it's expensive. So you don't want to just throw out all of your products, but it's like next time you want to go buy, or you need to go buy something, really think about, vinegar is amazing.
Yeah, it is.
So many things.
It sure is. You're preaching to the choir over here with my green cleaning company, right?
Yes. Perfect.
Yeah. Just thinking that makes sense to start just kind of think about and it's everywhere. These toxins are pervasive, right? I mean, and most of the smells that are in things are synthetic, and synthetic smells will mess with our hormones. So, okay.
Yeah. Huge.
Okay.
Yeah. Huge.
Yeah.
Just, yeah.
Nice.
So
nice.
that would be, it's so perfect.
What? Not on, I mean, hey, it was just a layup,
I know, it's perfect. So that would be, I think, the lightest lift. And I think the easiest thing for someone to do is really just think about, what are you being exposed to, right? What are you putting on your skin? What are you putting in your body? Like, just really think about, those sorts of things. And nowadays with AI and ChatGPT and all the things, you can just Google it. I am putting together an extensive resource, but it's not done yet.
Well, good. Maybe when this comes out, it'll be done and people can go to PamelaOtero.com and they can get that resource.
Absolutely. Yeah.
So I know we only have a few more minutes here together. So I want to ask you a couple other questions as a, very sort of intentional, mindful, busy entrepreneur. What habits and routines do you have that keep you so joyful and smiling and grounded and all the things? What do you do?
Well, one is boundaries.
My favorite
So
topic.
I am a high energy person, right? I'm naturally like, I love being around people, but that could also be depleting. So for myself, what I do is I spend a lot of time by myself.
Mhm.
I'm like an introverted extrovert. So for one thing is really setting boundaries with energy. And what I mean by energy is even with people and their energy. So it's great to, I could just be, excited and all of that, but just finding time by myself to really just sit. I don't have a TV. I haven't had a TV in now almost 15 years. Yes, I have a
Wow.
laptop and yes, I have Hulu and I could watch things but I really don't have a lot of this additional stimulus. So
Mhm.
that would be one thing is just creating a space that's a little bit more of a retreat and quiet. One thing I've learned to do, and I love it, is slow rolling my morning. I've spent so many years in the fitness industry, waking up at 3:30 a.m.,
Ugh.
teaching 5 a.m. classes, 4:30 a.m. clients, all the things, which contributed to a lot of my health issues. Because just going, that's not good, right?
Yeah. Right.
So I protect my sleep. Two, I have boundaries with people because I
Mhm.
don't want kind of that toxic energy to kind of take me down.
Mhm.
And
Mhm.
the other is I slow roll my morning. So
I
I
love that. Slow roll your
slow
morning.
roll. And even with my friends, I'm like, hey, I'm slow rolling it. So, uh, just really ease in. I think a lot of us, especially entrepreneurs, business owners, we hit the ground running. And I did that for many, 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 many years. And I get it. There's a time and a place. But
Mhm.
I've learned more and more as a business owner and even just a person and, just a mom and a woman that we really need to guard our energy and not just quickly jump in and just be stimulated right out of the gate. Just kind of ease into it, just a way to protect our nervous system and kind of slow roll it. And then it just ramps up and then we ramp down.
I love it. I haven't heard that slow roll. I love that. Thank you, Pamela. This has
Yeah.
been so fun, and we could talk for a lot longer. I know, but anyway, but this has been a lot of fun. I'd love to wrap up with just a couple of fast questions for
Okay.
you, and just kind of fun, whatever. And slow roll. I'm going to start using that. Just P.S. And before we go to that, where can people find you, Pamela? And we'll put it in the show notes too.
I think the easiest and best place is PamelaOtero.com.
Okay. Okay. It's
That's
a
where I
beautiful
put
website,
everything.
by the way. It's a beautiful website.
Oh,
So,
thank
okay.
you. And again, even
Yeah.
that, right? It's always evolving. There's
Yeah.
pages I haven't updated. It's like, whatever, I'll get to it.
Yeah. I love it. I love it. Yeah. So, okay. PamelaOtero.com. All right. So, let's just wrap up with a little bit of rapid fire. And now I don't even know which questions to ask you because of your nutritional stuff, but I'll start. What's your favorite pizza? Do you even eat pizza?
Oh, I love pizza.
Okay.
We use a sourdough discard and make our own pizza. I love pineapple and bacon. Like that's my go-to. I love pineapple.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Nice. Next big vacation spot.
Well, we are gearing up to plan our graduation vacation for my daughter and my nephew next summer. This summer, we went to Hawaii for my son and my nephew's graduation vacation. Why are we going to spend money on
Yeah.
a graduation party?
Yeah.
Let's go
Yeah.
travel. So we
Nice.
don't know. I have no idea. Connor and Ava they get to decide where we're going. So we went to Hawaii this last summer. So gearing up for a really fun trip this next summer, but I might have some backpacking,
Nice. Okay.
camping,
Okay.
little
Nice.
getaways.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice. Nice. All right. Would you rather spend a week like in a submarine exploring under the sea or a week in space?
Okay. When you said submarine, I already got constriction in my voice, and I'm like,
Okay.
absolutely not.
Okay.
So like claustrophobic and freaking out. So we're going to space.
All
Yes.
right. All right. Go to space. I like it. I like it. All right. Would you rather have a mustache and a beard that you cannot ever trim or get rid of, or would you
Okay.
rather be hot all the time?
Oh gosh, hot all the time or a mustache and a beard? That's hilarious. Those are so random.
Yeah. Welcome to my world.
So random. Oh, I'm just going to go with go hot. I don't know about facial hair.
Okay.
It's
Okay.
attractive
All right.
on men, but
Not for you. Okay. Okay. Hey, the last question, a little bit more serious. This life, this like kick-ass life that you've got going on for yourself, do you feel like it's more by design or by luck?
absolutely by design. I just think that we have an opportunity to direct our path. I don't think anything happens out of luck. I just think it's by design and by intention, and yeah, totally by design.
I love it. Well, Pamela, thank you for joining us here today on the show. It's so good to see you and so good to have you. And I have so many more questions for you. So maybe I'll have to have you on another time, but I love what you're doing. It's really exciting with this mineral matchmaking and the microgreens and all of the things.
Well, I am so excited to be here. Thank you so much, Molly, for having me. And I'm excited to continue living bright.
That's right, baby. That's right. All right.
And that's it for today. Thank you for joining us for another episode of the Live Bright Show. If you enjoyed this pod, please go to livebrightshow.com to be in the know for new program offerings and podcast releases. Molly has more awesome guests and content coming your way, so you're going to want to be on that list. Also, just because you're still listening, it would be incredible if you could go ahead and subscribe to this podcast and provide the show with a 5-star review. You know how they help. Go forth, have fun, and live bright, friends.